Mom, I'm on TV. Like,
That's really
yeah.
cute. That's really cute. So, how are you doing today?
Quite nice actually. Went to the beach. I'm sort of on a holiday. I'm with my parents on the seaside, and I'm kind of like I'm in the library right now, and I'm kind of expecting someone to walk with their like only in their underwear right now. Like, can you see the door? I'm like intentionally blocking the view,
No
but
way.
just so you know.
Oh my god. No way. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We better block that view because we have to maybe redo the whole interview if it needs to be, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get
And
into
on the
trouble.
other side, yeah, and on the other side you can see the door to heaven or whatever. Like it's so bright outside.
That's amazing. I mean, before we get started, do you mind presenting yourself? Who you are, what you do?
So that would be nice before like checking out my parents in their underwear, right? So my name is Bobby. I'm the head of Studio Mechka. I'm not going to say how old I am because at one point it's not appropriate, but yeah. So we founded Studio Mechka a couple of years ago as an outsourcing studio, and now we are developing. Oh, it's been a while now, but we've been developing our first own IP for I think it's almost like 4 years or so, like from inception until this point, but it's coming out very soon. So yeah, we're super excited. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here. It's actually my first live Twitch stream, although other streamers have shown the game, you know, and stuff, but like I'm sort of nervous and excited at the same time.
That's nice. That's nice. So you said soon. Soon. Do you have like are you gonna have like a grand opening or like a grand, I don't know, release date or something, you know, that you have planned or something?
Right, okay, so we don't have a set date yet because we are technically not gold. For the unenlightened, going gold means basically when the whole production is all wrapped up and everything is bug free, and basically once we announce that we are going gold, it means that the next time somebody touches the game is going to be the players, basically. So we haven't done that yet, but we are hoping to release the game in Q4. So that means probably October, November. Don't have a set date. We need to check out a couple of other things first. But yeah, that's about it.
Still like do some sort of like opening ceremony or something, you know, to celebrate that it's, you know, the very first release of the game after such a long time, you know.
What I'm saying is that we will definitely have a release party in our office or whatever, so you feel free to come if you're around. But yeah, we'll definitely need to celebrate it. Like no matter what happens after the launch, we'll definitely do something, and we'll probably get like pissed drunk or something inappropriate, or you know.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. And I also saw that you're going to a festival next month.
Yeah, we are going to be at Gamescom, which is the biggest gaming expo in Europe. Like the last couple of years, even though through the pandemic, they had like 300,000 visitors or so.
Whoa.
So it's like, I think outside of the US, and yeah, I think it's the biggest. It's definitely the biggest in Europe. Yeah.
So basically, you have to go through some sort of like application form, and throughout that application form, they can say yes, you are approved, or no, you're getting, you know, denied. Sadly, you know.
You guys are awesome. Let's do it. Just pay us a bunch of money and we'll have you. And the other option is you guys kind of suck, so maybe try again next year.
Oh no. Oh no, that doesn't sound very good, but I'm super happy that you guys actually got accepted into it, and that is a big opportunity to further find a bigger fan base of the game, engage with other studios, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more studios out there as well. Creators, you know, CEOs, whatever. Like for the networking purpose, I feel like that this is, you know, the best kind of an outcome. I'm super happy for that.
Yeah. And funny thing is that it's going to be like the events and everything is super cramped, and no idea how we're going to make it. Like basically, if you're going to this kind of expos, conferences and stuff, most of the things happen after, like during parties. You get to. It's a lot easier to get to know the important people when they're not in a professional environment. So basically, get people drunk, right?
Yeah.
Don't tell you anything, right? Um, but yeah, so basically, what we got told by a lot of people, like our colleagues, that it's really, really, really important not to leave any party or whatever before like 1 o'clock or something. And the next day, you're supposed to be at the booth from 8 in the morning until 9 in the evening. So I have no idea how we're going to make it.
I mean, I know a few secrets. I'm gonna drop them in chat for you later. Yeah, I know a few
Is it like,
secrets.
I don't do drugs if you like.
No, 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 no.
That's you're going to advise.
No, 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 no.
Good. Drugs are bad.
That's right. Listen, kids, he said it. Drugs are bad. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. But I kind of feel like the euphoria is gonna be keeping you alive. Like I thought the pretty same thing. This, like you, because like the whole event when you are there, it's packed with different kind of activities. You have to do stuff, be around, engage with people, yada yada yada, and then still have the power to actually go out there and network with more of the people. But to be honest, this really keeps you, like the whole like butterfly feeling kind of a situation, all the energy that you're getting from the whole event, it's actually keeping you like what do you call that in English? Let's see if I can find the
Buzz.
yeah, something like that that actually keeps you going throughout the whole event. Because I would usually get 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hours sleep when I'm on events like that. And to be honest, it actually feels fine. It's not bad. It's not bad. Is it the first kind of an event that you're going to be attending of that size?
Not really, but at that size, not going to be the first event that we're attending, but at that size, like this is like it's huge. I don't know if anyone in the chat has been to a Gamescom, but basically, if you want to go to from like it's like 20 halls. These are like huge halls, right? And if you want to go from hall, we're going to be in hall 10, and if you want to go from hall 10 to hall 11, you should like prepare at least like 30 or 40 minutes to get there.
Whoa.
It's enormous.
Whoa. How do people even do that? Like, do you have to walk there or something?
Yeah, you're supposed to walk, but
it's
like enormous.
I mean, makes sense. Wow. And do you know how many gaming studios are gonna be at that Gamescom? By any chance?
I have absolutely no clue.
Wow.
I have absolutely no clue. Like maybe like 400, 500.
That's really wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think at the we're part of the Indie Arena booth, which is like for the poor people, basically. And I think we're 40 studios there, and we are 40 studios from I think 500 that applied.
Wow. That sounds really big, and I thought DreamHack is big, but I feel like, yeah, DreamHack so far is the biggest event that I've ever, been to. So 40 out of 500, yeah, those are very, very good numbers. Like you can imagine, like since he said that it's 30-40 minutes walking from hall to hall, you can imagine how big this is. It's mind-blowing.
And it's exciting, it's the first time presenting at this kind of I'm actually going to be pitching at a couple of I think 2 nights or something. We submitted to the Gamescom Game Awards, so we might even win something, although I doubt it. Since all the big AAA studios, we can't really compete, right? Like 5 or 6 of us can't compete with 600 people from Ubisoft or whatever.
Yeah, but still, hey, it's an experience. You get to meet everyone.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win just by the fact that you got accepted. You go there, you put your name and your game and your work out there. So that is a big win just by that.
Yeah.
Anything else that comes is just a bonus to it. Alrighty, well, back to the game. So when did you say you started with, developing the game? How did the idea come up? Those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, it was a while ago now. We started drawing concepts in 2019, I think. So that's like almost 4 and something years ago. Like we were at the point where we could do a lot of basically we had enough experience making games to feel like in our own waters and that we could start and finish a project from A to Z. But we didn't have the pipeline set up because when you're an outsourcing studio, usually people hire you to do a certain job, like say finish a particular part of a game or a product or whatever. And it did take us a while to build a product pipeline which starts and finishes the whole, basically to see how the whole project works, right? And at the start, we were just like throwing ideas out. We were in I'd say like a honeymoon thing, where like you're super excited, but you don't know what you're doing, and you're just let's do that, but let him fly, let him hit with the mustache, and he didn't. I don't remember it. He didn't even have a mustache at the beginning. The animations were horrible. It was like a whole other thing, and I'm thinking let's do this like really quickly, right? But
Yeah.
no. And we did a Kickstarter in 2021 when we had all like the whole thing set up. So it took us 2 years or something like this, but we were still working on other things meanwhile. So it took us 2 years to get from concept to from ideas to a proper concept that we would show and see if there's a market for this type of thing. And apparently there was, so we started working on it full time in September 2021. At that point, we also started pitching to publishers and investors. And in 2020, like the next year, we got picked up by Digital Dragons Accelerator in Krakow, in Poland. If someone from there is watching this, heads up, guys, you were awesome. And they did help us quite a lot with like industry experience, with specific knowledge that we had no idea of learning. Like if we would learn it like super really hard way and would probably fail. So yeah, and we started working on Marco full time 2 years, almost 2 years ago, and like we've been doing this full time since then, and it's very close to completion now. But yeah, I know there's like a lot of stuff still missing even in the demo. Like we are quite aware, but like we're trying to use like I said, we're quite a small team, so we're trying to use people's experiences as testing purposes. But there'll be a point in the next month or so when we will have an open beta, with more content and more final stuff, and all the systems and features will be working. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I talked quite a lot.
No. That's perfect. That's perfect. It's always interesting, and you've came a long way for sure. Is that actually the first game that you ever made, designed, and worked on in general, or like do you have some sort of a background, like the studio?
No, like I said, we did work on quite a couple of projects previously, but that's our first game that is going to be finished by us from beginning to end. Like usually we have worked on quite like a couple of mobile games and everything. I'm not at liberty to say because we signed like NDAs and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, basically it's not our first project, but it's going to be our first, like I like to say, it's our first own IP. Like we own everything, and it's our own idea, original idea, and yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Well, Thank you so much for asking that. And I see here Han is saying that he's also making his own game after learning Unity. I would assume that you guys are using the same program too, or no?
You assumed wrong.
Oh no, because everyone so far has been using Unity anyways. So, how do you customize a game? What programming languages and yada 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 you're using for those
Okay, so
purposes?
yeah, sure. Since we had a lot of experience using Unreal Engine previously, and obviously Unreal uses C++, and we were thinking, yeah, let's try it out. It shouldn't be like Unreal isn't the go-to engine of choice to make a 2D game, but it doesn't mean it's impossible or anything. There is no reason why not to, right? It's just that Unity is the most probably approachable engine to use for 2D artists or for indie artists in general, creators. And Unreal is very powerful in terms of 3D. But since we already knew everything and we had a lot of already deep knowledge of it, we decided like let's go with it because otherwise we have to learn anything from like scratch.
And what about the key challenges while you were developing the game? Have you stumbled upon any? How did your team overcome them?
Yeah, so challenges as much as you like everywhere.
Yeah, that's for sure. But you never know. Maybe it has been a smooth process. That's what I'm asking.
So yeah, imagine game development is like being in a. That's what I like to say. Like when I was a kid, it was very popular to make like music bands, right?
Yeah.
Form a rock band. Like I'll be the guitarist, you'll be the whatever, the drummer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this, but it's a very lengthy process, and in the end, it's very unclear. It's like it's a very high risk job. It's very unclear what you're making, and unless you're making it fast enough, you'll probably drown in either features or stuff to do, and you'll be irrelevant by the time it comes out. Like there are a lot of people who are trying to make online multiplayer games on their own, which is crazy. But people still try it, right? And that's okay. But if you're looking at it from a business perspective, it needs to like the people who are making it need to like pay their they need to get paid, so they like pay their rent or mortgages, and they eat and everything, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, it needs to make money. It's not a hobby. And obviously, money has been quite an issue from us. We did have our own backs at the start, and Kickstarter has helped us somewhat. But it's quite hard to get funding. Although now that we've been at it for quite some time, it just takes time and knowing the right people, like in everything. But when you're starting out, it's quite hard. Like, what do I do? It's overwhelming. But yeah, Kickstarter. I do recommend Kickstarter. It's quite an interesting tool, not for funding, but for testing your idea. Okay, I remember something. So you know at the start when you're trying to define, it's very important to define what you're making.
Yeah.
And have clear idea of what the finished product is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they call it feature creep, which basically means that you're starting to make something, and you either or somebody else in the team or even somebody outside of the team comes to you and says, "Wouldn't it be cool if we add XYZ, or whatever to the game?" And then wouldn't it be cool if we added microtransactions? And then wouldn't it be cool if we did a multiplayer? And then wouldn't it be cool if we like that's feature creep. Basically, a lot of features start creeping in, and the product gets overblown, and you can't possibly do it. That's why you should be very strict and have a clear idea of what you can do and what the team can do, and how long it's going to take to do it. Luckily, we are not in the mobile game business because that business is even more saturated than the PC gaming or the console gaming. But in mobile gaming, the project needs to be completed in around 5 to 6 months. Otherwise, the concept becomes outdated.
Yeah, wow. I mean, makes sense. Makes
Yeah,
sense. But yeah, I kind of feel like even for PC, it's starting to slowly become even more saturated, don't you think? Like, you should know better than I do. Like a rough estimate amount of games that have been released every single month. You know, and from big
I don't know
studios,
about
indie studios, etc. Like I kind of feel like there is a lot still.
well, during the last couple. I'm just going to say about Steam because I don't know about the other shops or whatever, or the consoles. But Steam last year, I think it was like 4,000 or 5,000 games released. There is a trend of them going up because it's more accessible in terms of art and programming and everything. You can use a visual scripting tool or whatever. But Valve did try to sort of cut down on shovelware. That's what they call it. That's what I would describe it. Or just like reskins of other games, basically rip-offs and stuff. Imagine the equivalent of a Chinese Adibas or whatever.
Yeah.
It's juice, but not really.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Wow.
So they did try to cut down on it, and they did. I think I think last month or so, they did announce that they're going to take down any games that have any AI assets, which is cool, I guess, because like it's cool for us though.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like AI will be taking over at some point. I mean, not for fully taking over, but like within some of the programs that I use, I wouldn't say really on daily basis. They've already implemented AI functionalities and stuff like that. Like I'm paying for Adobe Creative Cloud, for instance, and up until recently, they didn't have the so-called text-to-image feature, which is basically the AI that was initially on few other programs and GPTs and OpenAIs and stuff like that, but now they're implementing it as well. So it's still in the beta testing process, but they're slowly implementing it. So I kind of feel like at some point, maybe not fully, but most of the software will be having an AI integrated. So I kind of feel like this is going to reach to the point where the games will be, under the same hat in the future.
This is happening even before AI. Because
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you've noticed, but most 3D realistic looking games on Unreal Engine, like we call it the Unreal Engine look, like all games that are supposed to look realistic have the same look because they're realistic, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of don't like these types of games, because you're just emulating the real world. There's no like artistic creativity. I'm not saying that like the games are bad or anything. It's just in terms of visual, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. There is no art. Yeah. Well, we will see in the next, I would say, probably 5-7 years, something like that. Even less than that, given the fact how fast software, technology, and everything else is changing, or you will even say like evolving, not really changing, but at the same time there will be probably changes along the way. But we'll see. For now, I would say we're good as we are. Okay, so Neon is asking, what is your favorite feature in the game?
I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe like the axe throw pogo thing that you can see in the trailer, basically throwing the axe and sort of doing a little like tennis thing or jiggle with it. I don't know, but it's quite fun to do, and it's sort of creative thing. Some of the abilities are quite fun. Like none of the new ones are in this trailer or in the demo, but yeah, I'd say I'd say the axe thing, basically throwing the axe and then hitting it back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, this one, yeah.
It looks super cool. I mean, just a background. Here, I'm gonna open a bit of a place to say what I want to say. Back in beginning of May, 6th of May to be more accurate, I was at Plovdiv. Studio Meshka was there, guests of 10-day gaming festival that was happening at that time, called Plovdiv Place. So I did have a chance to play a bit of the game there. And I would say that it's extremely cute. And as I said, some of the monsters look pretty derpy, which I really adore because they're cute and derpy at the same time. So I had a chance to actually speak with them. I don't know if I saw you there. I think not. But anyways, yeah, it was really fun. That's the first encounter of me and Studio Mechka, basically.
What do you mean? We talked for like 15 minutes. But okay.
I mean, I have pretty bad memory because I
know.
Yeah,
you did speak a lot with my.
Yes,
you
with
did
your
speak a
colleague.
lot with my colleague who is more handsome than me and is also not married.
That's come on now, like this.
I'm just saying, like this is.
I'm
like,
just saying, okay.
This is like female repellent here. Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't look at those things. Like, if I want to talk to people, I go on and talk to people. I kind of feel like you were busy going around doing stuff.
I'm just joking though.
Nothing personal to you. I'm not looking, whoever is the hottest one out there without female repellents and stuff like that. It's just that I don't remember, especially if I have to talk with a lot of people. Like, there's like blank spaces here and there.
Yeah, I hope Mike is watching this.
I hope not. Dan is asking, how big is the dev team?
Okay,
or the whole team?
We are. Oh, that's okay. So we are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 core people.
Mm-hmm.
4 people, yeah, including me. We have a composer who I'm not counting there, and we have 2 interns.
2 interns
who are not getting paid, which is illegal.
Oh,
sort of.
I see. Well,
but they're getting experience, so it's okay.
Will it only be for Steam, or will it expand to PS4 and Xbox?
That's a fair question. We are releasing, like I said, like Q4. Basically means at the end of the year. Sorry about that. At the end of the year, we're going to release it on Steam, and then in a couple of months after that, we can fix all the bugs and we get like licensed and everything, and we can fight the corporate giant that is Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, like Microsoft. Then we'll go to consoles, but I cannot tell you how long it's going to take. Probably 2 or 3 months, purely because of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And probably money.
Wow. Do you think like bureaucracy? When you say that, I'm gonna have to add a follow-up question. Like, how hard is it actually with the bureaucracy when it comes to going on those platforms?
Like it's not that hard if you're a triple. Like if people know you, it's not that hard. If they don't know you, like which is in our case, it's somewhat hard, but it's not that hard. It just takes time because it's a corporate structure, so it needs to go through a couple of people there, and then they need to approve you. And then if something in the build or the documentation or whatever is lacking, then they'll come back to you. Then you have to fix it, and then it will have to go through the whole chain again. And if it's the case with Nintendo, for instance, Nintendo America, Nintendo Europe, Nintendo Japan, Nintendo Asia, and whatever, they are all different structures, and they all have different, exactly what you said, Vicky, and they are very the regional Nintendo structures. For instance, Nintendo Europe and Nintendo Japan might have different requirements, which is fine.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Well, if you were to like start, working on the bureaucracy after time, do you know to which parts of the globe you'll be, doing all the bureaucracy with, like Nintendo Europe, America, or like, do you have like something in mind before you start submitting the documents?
This is what I'm saying. If you want to release the game in Japan, we'll have to deal with Nintendo Japan. If you want to release it in Europe, we'll have to deal with Nintendo Europe, and so on. And we want to release it, of course, everywhere. So we have to deal with all of them.
Got it. So your goal is to, basically release it everywhere.
Yeah.
So Marco. He relies on jumping, slashing, shooting abilities. Not shooting abilities. Maybe he'll have shooting abilities in the future. You never know. To overcome challenges and mighty bosses. So can you elaborate on the combat mechanics and how you balance efficiently all the difficulties to provide a satisfying gaming experience?
So what's balancing? Sorry.
I don't know.
Like
to make a balance. I don't know. Like it should not be like extremely hard, not too easy. I don't know. Like something along the lines.
Yeah, it's something that you know how musicians play by ear.
Yeah.
It's something like this. Like we give it a go. Like we give it a go in the office, and it's like, is it hard? Yeah, I think it's too hard. Like let's tune it down a little bit. Yeah, and apparently we kind of sometimes we nail it, sometimes we don't. That's why we like when we get like a lot of feedback, even though I don't care if it's critical. Like if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't like. We're not trying to make something that appeals to everybody. As long as it appeals a lot to some people, that's fine by me, right? And yeah, in the end, it needs to be fun. So that's why when somebody asks us what's the difficulty, we say it's like mid-core. It's in the middle. If it's supposed to be fun, if it's sadly we can't like do a proper difficulty check, difficulty setting, because it's like it has platforming and everything. The only thing that we can probably control is just the HP of the different enemies. So that's what we do. That's what the difficulty setting is going to do. But yeah, definitely we just try it out, and when somebody gives us feedback, we try to incorporate it, or as long as it makes sense. But yeah, in the end, we just try it out and see how it goes, and yeah, that's it.
Wow. Okay, so following that gut feeling, wow, I can say that it works really well for you, because yeah. As Robert said, who needs to do the math? Just go by your gut feeling. So, yeah.
I hate math. What are you talking about? I hate math. Like the interesting thing is that's what I like. Math is like what we work right now. But when I was in school, I just hated math. I hated them. Math's guts.
Yeah, me too. So I don't think I'll be suitable to.
You make a perfect programmer.
Me? Just because I don't like it? How?
Yeah, exactly. I hated it, but now it's interesting. No, it's not like interesting, but it's just practical. It's interesting to solve problems with it.
Okay. What inspired you for the character design?
Okay, so like I don't remember. So how there's like at the start when we were doing the concepts, Marco did look very, very different. There's Haiduks or Haiduks, I'm not sure. These are basically for the like people who don't know. These are basically during the late medieval times and early modern times, in when the Balkans were under Ottoman control. The Haiduts were basically bandits, rebels, or whatever that used to hide in the mountains. And that's it basically. The mustache is quite prominent because we like mustaches. Who doesn't like mustaches? And another important, obviously, like Hollow Knight, but everything now looks like Hollow Knight, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit, just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. And also there is this thing that, like, a lot of the team is like around the same age, right? So we were born during either the end of the 80s or the start of the 90s. And me personally, I love 90s Saturday morning cartoons. So, like DuckTales, Tailspin, all that. I don't know if who remembers it, but yeah, that's this kind of goofy animations with, everything is hand drawn. So,
Yeah.
and we're not trying to like, we're not trying to take ourselves too seriously, and it's obvious in the game. It's like there's a lot of humor in it. I'm sure, like, when you play the whole thing, it's going to be even more evident. But it's still like we're still trying to talk about an interesting and serious topic, sort of. Like, it's like he goes through an epic adventure, right? But it's a bit goofy, right?
Oh, it's very cute, goofy, I could say. I love it.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't like that, right? We had a couple of people, like, on our Discord server, that were because a lot of people were super excited about this because it's like Slavic folklore, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, but I don't imagine this looking like this. And I'm like, okay, but it doesn't matter, right? You have it in your own head, so yeah. And actually, this brings me to another topic. The interesting thing about Slavic folklore is that a lot of the, I'd say, creatures and everything, like all of the fantastical mythological creatures, are quite not as formed in the physical way as they're in other mythologies and folklores.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
for instance, ours are more like metaphorical. For instance, we have a Zmei, a Chala, and Tawamia, which are
Yeah.
all typed, sort of like dragons, but you cannot find anywhere like, how do they look.
Yeah.
If you ask 100 people, they're sort of like incarnations of natural forces, right? So they are strong wind, thunderstorms, and stuff like that. So they're not Slavic folklore is Polish. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, we also have folklore in Bulgaria as well,
Yeah. We have our own.
So when I say Slavic, also I mean like our, like, here, like southern Slavic folklore.
Yeah.
Which is different than Polish folklore. Ours is more mixed with Greek and stuff like that. Yeah. So how there's a saying in what writers used to say, that you should write about what you know, and we kind of apply the similar concept here. Honestly, what excites me about game development and games in general is they're a very interesting medium about storytelling. They're a very interactive medium of storytelling, right? Because the person who is playing it is actually himself embodying the protagonist. So it's a very unique concept. Because if you're reading a book from first person perspective, you're sort of reading about somebody telling the story, right?
Yeah.
So this is quite different. It's more akin to I think they're called your own game, do your own adventure. There's like game books where you pick a number, like you're reading the book and then you can pick a choice from a certain amount of episodes. I'm not sure what they're called in English. Knigi Igri, they're called game books in Bulgarian.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so.
Create your own adventure books or game books or whatever.
Yes, something like
So
that. Yeah, if you have to translate
yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So what we are trying to sort of do is tell a story that's very close to our environment and what we want to talk about. Because yeah, I do believe that you should talk about what you know. Yep.
I kind of feel like that this is one question you already partially answered, but Slavic myths and legends, as we know, are unique and intriguing source of inspiration, just like in your case. So how did you manage to incorporate these elements into the game's narrative and characters? Like, you can give some examples if you want.
So there is like everything that you see currently going on. There's like like even the frog thing is a Vodyanoi. I even wrote it in the, like I said, Slavic folklore is quite subject, like it's quite subjective because it's a water spirit that's supposed to look. Some people say it's supposed to look like a frog, and ours is just like it's a frog sort of thing. There is basically we picked a lot of, like we have a whole, like a, imagine like a really big, like maybe like 30 or 40 gigs of concepts and stuff about like 99% of the known creatures that you can find on the internet about Slavic creatures, and we go through all of them. Like we went through all of them, and we decided, does that fit the narrative, and does that fit any of the zones, and does that fit any of the already established designs do we have? And it's sort of like it's a circle, right? So we pick a creature, we make the design, and it might not look with what we imagined that to look like, but it needs to fit inside the theme of into the current zone, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, the red zone that you can see with the vampire, that looks like a coup. That's actually a vampire, right? Because vampires are also from the region. It's not only Slavic folklore, but it's sort of Balkan folklore. And vampires are Balkan. Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint. And it needs to fit inside the zone that tells the story of this vampire. So we start from the boss, and then we pick the creatures from there, right?
Yeah.
And the bosses are not always Slavic inspired. It needs to work with the story, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, inside the castle, we have a sort of like a king type of thing. Like I won't say anymore. So all of the other like obviously they are going to be soldiers and everything. So these are not Slavic creatures. Like these are just like dudes. Yeah, okay, the gold. Okay, yeah, the gold. The gold is quite interesting. There is a very, like, the most famous Bulgarian folktale is called The Three Brothers and the Golden Apple. It tells the story of, obviously, three brothers and Golden Apple, but it tells the story of three brothers. And in Balkan folklore, apparently, the youngest brother, who is the underdog usually, who is the shortest, the least heroic and everything, he's always the protagonist, right? Because he overcomes his shortcomings. So that's who Marco is. He has three brothers, even though Marco is actually based on another folklore hero. He's from the region, right? He's from the region. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's
the region,
the most famous Bulgarian folklore. It doesn't mean it's not like anywhere else. So so in this tale, there is at a certain point in the folktale, he comes in contact with two goats, a red goat and a black goat. No, sorry, a white goat and a black goat. And they take him, the black goat takes him to the underworld, and the white goat takes him to the upper world. Yeah, basically the upper land and the downland, the land down under, not Australia. Uh, so yeah, that's about the goat, right? And this goat is going to be the this goat is going to be sorry, is going to be the fast travel sort of type of thing that you take. I think it's even in the Kickstarter, but there is a concept, there is an idea of after you finishing the game, to be able, because the game has multiple endings, to be able to go through the game again. But instead of Marco, you'll be playing as Mara, who is going to be like his sister or whatever. And yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. All right. All right. Oh yeah. What games did you grow up with? That's a good question.
okay. Now that's not going to be very interesting. So I think the first, before having a computer, I had a PlayStation. We had a couple of games on it. It was I don't remember, like some motorbikes or whatever. We definitely had Tekken. I think it was Tekken 2 at that time. I have played a fair amount of arcade games in my time, like Double Dragon, the Golden Axe, I think it was called, the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. What else? I don't remember. Like all this kind of stuff, where you put a coin and then you run out of money and then you have no money to buy lunch and stuff like that. But for more recent times, we definitely had Spyro on the PlayStation. We had I think it was called Frogger, right?
Yeah.
Then came the computer, which Diablo 2, obviously. Diablo 1. I actually have I think it's even in this room. Like I have the original case of Diablo 1. Like it's horrible.
Ooh.
It's a horribly boring game. It wasn't back then, of course, but
Yeah, of course.
then I went to school, and then we had WoW, which I've spent a lot of time on that. We had I'm going to show off now. So I did a server first Illidan with my hunter back when it was like the original Burning Crusade, which is
Oh yeah.
famous on the internet.
Oh yeah.
And I recently, obviously Metroidvania games like Hollow Knight, like this is more recent, but Castlevania, Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion. I don't really like.
Yeah.
First mission, Metroid First Mission. And after a while, I did play maybe for a couple of years, even in university. But yeah, put a stop to that because it's too addictive. I don't like online games too much because they are. I used to play a lot of League of Legends, but again, it's. I'm very easily addicted to this type of games, so I don't play games that much anymore.
Of course. This is very intriguing, and we have a question from a new viewer who's asking, "What was your hunter spec in TBC?"
Let me. When we took down it, probably survival, I think. No. Yeah, I think survival probably has been it. I did remember having a macro for steady shots and whatever back when that was a thing. Yeah, I think it was survival. Yeah.
Awesome.
That probably sounds lame now, but yeah.
You've played a lot of games.